How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. We're going to get right into it with a couple things today. We're going to get into plant health, mainly spider mites. We have some spider mites here, so I have a simple solution that I'm going to show you. If you're having the same problem for an infestation of spider mites, we have some plants on the back deck that are hardening off, so I'll give you some tips and tricks for hardening off your plants, and I'll give you an update on the inside and outside gardens. Lots on the go, lots happening, so stick along. Lots to go over in this video. All right, so we're out here. We did the build of the greenhouse. We still need to move some stuff around there to square some things up for the door, but we're starting our straw bales, as you see here. So we have 2 rows of straw bales. We want them laid upright like this. We don't want them with the straw, or we don't want them with the string facing up, because we want the fertilizer to go down in the center of them. We're just getting ready to condition our bales right now. We have 2 different kinds of fertilizers. So these are the 2 fertilizers that we're going to be using. One of them is just literally a lawn fertilizer. We picked up that because it is nitrogen heavy, 32 for the nitrogen number. And then later on, after the little bit of conditioning is done, we have some 10-10-10 to throw in there as well. So what we're going to be doing here, got the hose all lined up, as you see right here, going over to the straw bales. It takes approximately 2 to 3, 4 weeks to condition your bales. So keep that in mind if you want to try it for your own season. What we're going to do is we're going to get some fertilizer, and it's about a cup of fertilizer per straw bale that we're going to sprinkle on, and then we're going to hit it with the hose and get everything all soaked in, and then that'll be the first step in conditioning these straw bales. Spider mites are just one of those things that are almost going to happen to everybody overwintering plants, or if you kind of have a good sized garden on the inside. If you don't nip it in the bud right as soon as you find it, it's hard to keep on top of it. So I was going over the plants today, and I noticed that there's some webs forming in, mainly there was a lime tree that we seen and our tomatoes that we overwintered. So if you don't want it to spread, 9 times out of 10, the best option is to just get rid of those plants, clip off those leaves and those stems where you see some webs and some eggs forming. So we're going to try and nip some stuff here in the bud. We have a mixture of rubbing alcohol and water that we're going to spray on the plants. We're going to try and get these nipped in the bud before they spread over to our plants that we have on the shelves here behind us. These are some of the plants that we overwinter that are having the problem with spider mites. So we're going to get it nipped in the bud. What we're going to be doing here, we're going to be conditioning our bales. We have it's just Scott's Turf Builder. It has 32 for nitrogen, super high nitrogen, which is what you're looking for. So for each of these bales, I am just going to sprinkle in about a cup on the top here on each of them. So we have 6 bales on each side. So altogether for the first go ahead, it's going to look for 12 cups. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to completely soak the bales. So our bales now are laden with nitrogen, all kind of granules of nitrogen in our bales. So what we're going to be doing now, after we have them all set in here, as you see there, we're going to go back over and we are just going to flood each of these bales, completely flood it till you see water coming out the bottom. So you're going to want to make sure that you have water going all the way through your bales. So just make sure that you're coming out the bottom, that it's seeping through, that your bales get really saturated to get that nitrogen down into the middle of the bale to get it composting good. We have a mixture of 50% rubbing alcohol, and what I have it diluted down into is about a half a cup of rubbing alcohol compared to about a cup of water. Some of the telltale signs of looking for spider mites, where your stem comes off and it wires off. Look at that bottom of the node. Chances are you're going to see some white specks or some spider webs in around there. They like to make their homes close into the stem or on the underside of the leaves. So check out those places first, right close to the stem on the underside of the leaf. Spray it with water if you have a spray bottle, and that'll make the webs and all the shoots easier to see and easier to take care of. So here we have a strawberry plant that is just infested with mites. You can see there all of those little white specks. Those are eggs, and you can see the webs in between the strands of the leaves right there starting. So here's what I was talking about with going right towards the bottom of the stem right here, right close to the stem, and on the underside of the leaves we can see the webs starting to form. Alrighty, y'all. Well, it's day 3 on conditioning the straw bales, getting ready for growing. A couple weeks out of the growing season, so I have my fertilizer I'm using here, and my straw bales are all set up here. So what we're going to do is we got to add a half a cup to each of the bales here. So that's exactly what we're going to do, and just going to sprinkle her on nice and evenly as we can here. Do that with all of the bales. So there, we get a half a cup on that bale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a half a cup on each of them, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to water them down. So we have our half of cup sprinkled on our straw bales. You can see there it's just sitting kind of on top. Some has fallen down in through. So I'm going to go turn on the hose, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to saturate it, and we're going to try and get this stuff, all the nutrients that's on top right there that you see there, we're going to get that dissolved so it goes right down into the middle of it. Another telltale sign is discoloration and dead leaves, which we can see right there. The edges of the leaves are curling in, and the leaves are just absolutely just dying because that is just infested so heavy with spider mites. So there you can see the web really good there. Leaf is just dying and dead, has all kinds of those white specks on it, and that's what we don't want to see. So unfortunately, this strawberry plant is heavily infested with mites, but we got a solution here. So this will be the first time doing the straw bale gardening for both me and my partner this year. We figured that we'll try something new, go out of our comfort zone, and that's the thing about life and gardening. Got to go outside your comfort zone and find the things that you like, find the things that work for you, and even if it doesn't work out for us this year and the plants don't turn out as well as we think they are, or they aren't as successful as other plants in the garden, that's completely fine, because like I'd mentioned earlier, that we're creating a nutrient-rich compost for the garden next year. As we keep adding nutrients this year and over the summer and the winter that's coming up, it's going to keep constantly breaking down, creating that nutrient-rich soil. It's good for if you don't have a large area of ground or good area of good soil. You can set this down, prepare it about a month ahead, and you're good to go for the remainder of the season. What are you doing, Max? So there's a couple different remedies you can use to take care of spider mites or any kind of mites that you have problems with. One that I've used in the past is just using any Dawn liquid hand soap. Unfortunately, we don't have any of that, but if you do, just dilute that down with water, and you can spray that on your plants as well. You could use hydrogen peroxide, but right now we're going to be using a mixture of water and rubbing alcohol. So we have this 50% isopropyl alcohol that we're going to be using. Like I said earlier, we have it about a half a cup. We have it about a quarter to a half a cup of rubbing isopropyl alcohol, and water we're using to dilute it about a cup and a half of water to dilute it. So here we are. We have this mixture here. Quarter to a half a cup of rubbing isopropyl alcohol and a little over a cup of water. So what we're going to do is we're going to spray this on the plants. This isn't good for eggs. It's only good for larvae and actual mites itself. So if you are spraying it down with this concoction, you're going to have to spray it down a couple times or wipe the leaves clean. Make sure that there's no eggs or larvae because this won't kill them. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I have my solution that I'm going to be using right here. I have my plant that's infested with spider mites. So I'm just going to use paper towel, spray my paper towel, give that a good generous give that a good generous spray here, get that nice and moist. And we're just going to rub the leaves down underneath and over top, see if we can't get rid of some of the eggs that may be, or that actually are, since we've seen them on video. Those white specks that I showed you earlier, they were larvae of the spider mites. So we're going to go under the leaves, and we're going to go over the leaves, and just wipe everything down. It doesn't have to be perfect. We can come back and we can spray it down and wipe it again in the following days. But this will be the best opportunity to get all of the larvae that's unhatched and that's just waiting around. We might even prune some of these dead leaves off to give it a better chance, since literally they are just dead there as well too. So we'll just get rid of these. Make sure that they don't fall down in there so they won't keep recreating and all that stuff. So we'll give them this. We'll give this plant hopefully a fighting chance. So just like I say, I'm just coming in here and I'm just getting rid of all these dead leaves. You can hear they're just super crunchy. We're going to throw these out. Now, it probably would be easier if I had some scissors, but that's fine. Come in here, just wipe them down. I can see some stuff on them, on the branches and such. Alright, so now after that, we're just going to come in. A lot spindly now, but we're just going to spray it down. Make sure the underside's all wet. There. So that's all you're going to do is essentially just go down with your paper towel, wipe the leaves down, wipe the stems down, wipe everything you can down, go back, spray on the top side of the leaves, spray on the underside of the leaves, and do that to all of the plants that you see spider mites on. This one was pretty heavily infested with them. It's almost all the leaves on it are dead, but they might make a comeback. You know, it's a strawberry bush, strawberry plant, so they're pretty resilient. There's some stuff that I moved outside earlier, some overwinter tomatoes that we had over there. They were just infested as well, so I'm going to go give them a good trim, a good cut down, and I'll spray them down with this. And I have some other plants here as well that I hope that it's only just the beginning of them moving over there, so I'm not going to wipe them down. I didn't see any eggs. I'm just going to spray them all down and hope for the best. So these plants here, these are some plants that were kind of in the affected area over here that I'm just going to spray down. I kind of see some eggs on some, but we're just going to give them a good spray down, and we're going to keep an eye on them within the past couple days. Try and get on the undersides. Well, come on out into the jungle. We have old Mad Max here soaking up the sun watching our plants. We have some plants out here hardening off. We have all kinds of peppers and tomatoes, different varieties and such. Also, we have some of the plants that we took out from before that we're going to give those a spray down. They are heavily infested with mites. Also, I'll show you some of the damage on those plants that have been done. We have some tomatoes over there, all kinds of different kinds. So when you're hardening off your plants like we are out here, you want to do it in stages. Today is a sunny day, but it's not as warm as it was in the past couple days. So ultimately you want to try and pick maybe a cloudy day, put it under a tree or somewhere in the shade on your first day. Put it out there in the sun on a cloudy day for, a couple hours, hour or two to start off. You don't want to shock them or anything like that. Essentially, they're just like us. They've been over winter. Their skin is sensitive. So, 9 times out of 10 when we go out in the sun too for the first time in the season, we're going to get burnt. So we don't want them to get burnt and to get wilted. So keep an eye on them as you're progressing through the day and as you're getting them all hardened off. Some of the signs that you may want to look out for are some wilting of the leaves. They're not going to be as jagged and as pointy out. They may flop down a little bit. They may start to feel a little bit papery. They may look also like they've been overwatered or underwatered. If you're noticing those signs while they're still outside, bring them in, and within a day or even a couple hours, they'll perk back up and they'll be healthy because of this. Your plants want to get hardened off in stages because they've been pampered over their winter life with, ample amounts of sunlight in a nice calm area. So the sun is way stronger than any grow light that you could have. Same with the wind and different attributes that come from that. So if your plants are inside, a good habit to get into is running a fan over them, spraying them with a spray bottle, or just even rubbing your hands over them to try and strengthen up their stems that little extra bit more to get them ready for the outside. All right, so here are the tomatoes that we've overwintered. The plants are nice and big, but they're not the healthiest. Like I say, that just because they have been infested with mites. So some of the damages that you can see here, you can see the leaves are starting to wilt and die. You can see they're rusty, getting splotches on them. So those are some of the signs that you can look out for if it's starting to happen to your plants as well. You can see on the stem here that you can see the mites trying to get the spider web going all along the stem there. So there we can see it right there. We can see literally just a tunnel of spider web that they've been forming over the last little bits, just killing off the plants, using it for sustenance. So that's why we've moved them outside. We have that one. There's 3 or 4 out here that same kind of things happening. Leaves rusting, wilting, dying, turning yellow. That is literally because all the mites are eating the good stuff out of the plant and pretty much just killing it. So here we are. I'm just going to spray them down. Do the same thing I did before on the inside. I'm not even going to wipe these ones. I'm just going to spray them down and hope for the best. If they can kill off the mites, that would be great. If not, we have all kinds of other tomatoes. So hopefully it doesn't come to that you have mites in your garden or in your plants on the inside garden or anything like that. No mites is just, better. But if you do, there's a couple ways that you can go about in getting rid of them. Like I say, we can do Dawn, hydrogen peroxide, or some rubbing alcohol is the 3 that I usually use. We're going to head outside now and I'll show you an update on the garden, some of the stuff that we have planted, some of the stuff that we have coming up. Super exciting times. Let's go check it out. So our garlic that we overwintered is doing absolutely awesome. We have about 40 heads of garlic right there. They're coming up absolutely great, super healthy. Frost has only been a factor in the tips of it, so awesome stuff there. Probably coming on to, 8 inches, 10 inches, maybe a foot tall on some of them. So they're looking absolutely awesome. We're going to have lots of garlic. Over here is onions. So we did bulb onions. Can actually see one coming up right, where are we here? There it is. So we can start to see an onion come up right there. So we're going to do some over summer onions, and then we're going to do some over winter onions. Oh, I see another one coming up. Looks like over here as well. Looks like I'm going to have to come out and water this later. But yeah, we see, oh yeah, there's some more coming up right there. Let's see if we can get zoomed in on it here somewhere. Can't really find it on video, but oh, there's another one. So yeah, they're coming up. Got another onion coming up right here. Got one coming up right there. Awesome stuff. All right, well, we'll move on down. We'll keep on going. Just posted a greenhouse video getting this built. So this is where we're at so far with the greenhouse build. It's a 10 by 16 is what it's going to be. We're starting to do our straw bales as well, getting those conditioned for planting here in the next couple of weeks. So we have 15 straw bales that we're doing as well. Come over here, and over here is a couple rows of carrots, and then coming down into a couple rows of beets. We have our super soil that we got delivered the other day, and here we have a couple rows of onions. Whether or not that they're going to make it, I don't know. There was a frost, so I had them covered last night, so we're going to hope for the best for these onions. And then coming down here, we are coming down into the rows of potatoes. So we have 7 rows of potatoes so far. We have 7 rows of potatoes. The first 2 rows are Yukon Golds. Next 2 rows are Kennebec. Next 2 rows are Columba. And then over here on this row over here on the side row over here, those are some russets. Don't have anything coming up right yet, but we're gonna have probably about 10 rows, 12 rows of potatoes. So we're gonna have a good heaping crop, hopefully. So there's the video for today, taking care of some mite problems, giving some hardening off tips and tricks, and checking out the old garden area and seeing what we have on the go. So be sure to stay tuned. There is going to be lots more happening here at the garden, lots more greenery. Be sure to stick along, watch everything sprouting, the success, the failures, and everything in between. Muchly appreciate y'all taking some time out of your day to stop by. Adam signing off until next time. Woo, woo, woo. Have a blessed day, y'all. Cheers.